Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyra here with another Guardian Tales video, and in today's video I want to talk about legendary gear that is actually worth limit breaking here in Guardian Tales. And so before we get into this video, I'd really appreciate if we can get a like on this video. That'd be awesome. Also subscribe to the channel for more Guardian Tales content. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video here. So I want to talk about legendary gear specifically, because I think a lot of people really focus on the epic and unique stuff, especially unique gear mainly in the accessory category and the shield category, but pretty much everything else is epic only. And so I want to talk about legendary stuff because I think there's a lot of good legendary pieces of gear out there that potentially could be getting slept on, and I thought it'd be a good topic. So the first thing is mainly when it comes to these legendary pieces of gear. So legendary pieces of gear, their exclusives are for natural 2-star characters. And so a lot of these pieces of gear that we're going to want to fully limit break are going to be based on how good that natural 2-star is. So a lot of them are going to match. So if we look at the 2 stars here, let's actually go to the book, and then here let's start with basic here. And when it comes to the natural 2 stars here, there's really not that many that are good. The only one that really gets used in, because for the most part natural 2-star characters are really only used in the beginning of the game when you're farming a mono team and you're kind of stuck with them until you get more unique characters, and in raiding they're actually used pretty significantly, and they're not like used, oh it's good for a 2-star. It's actually like, here we're putting that 2-star in because they're good. Those examples of them, one would be Amy here, but Amy doesn't have an exclusive yet, and people use Amy with like an epic fire 2-hander because she's really only used in a fire team, so she doesn't really count in this case scenario, even though she is a 2-star character that's actually used. And I have seen Male Knight in basic teams, but there's better options. And so then when it comes to light characters here, Neva is used, but she also doesn't have an epic weapon yet. But Aisha is a good character, and she has one of the best exclusive weapons to limit break, because it's very unique on how the limit breaking works for this character. So here, let's actually go to the weapon. Here she has a 1-hander, and it is this one. So what's cool about this is when she lands a critical hit, all allies critical hit chance increases by 2 times for 3 seconds, 8-second cooldown time. But she has a very unique fully limit break where its critical hit chance is 10% increase. She only has 3%, which is very low, but then she's giving everyone double the critical hit chance when she crits herself. So her critting is very important to make her engine work as a support. So fully limit breaking this, if you're going to be using her, which she's actually not bad when it comes as a character in a lot of raiding content, and I do splash her sometimes if I need extra survivability for Camazon Zone or for Orbital Lift because of her typing and her party buff, which is an HP increase. And then she also is a shield user, so she's actually kind of tanky. So I think this is a good weapon to fully limit break. This is the first one on the list here, so let's keep it moving. I don't want this video to take forever, so let's go back to the heroes here. We are on light heroes. We covered pretty much all the good ones here that are used. Dark characters, when it comes to fully limit breaking a weapon, I would say Grimoire on these guys. Out of the natural 2-star characters, when it comes to darks, Shapira, Grimoire, and Karina are all used. But the one that I would actually focus on limit breaking is going to be Grimoire, because she's mainly focusing on damage. She's really good because she has this normal attack here, throws a mysterious flash that deals damage, but it reduces enemies' defense by 20%. Awesome ability, but her exclusive, because she's used so much in raiding, if you can max limit break it, that'd be awesome. And she's used in dark teams. She's used because she has a very generic party buff and easily procced chain skill that puts people in airborne, so it's awesome. And then this is just increasing the range and damage of the final flask explosion by 60%. If this is not going to be on the same level of, you know, limit breaking the last piece of gear, because it's not having this unique effect, but it's just giving the 10% extra damage. And because she's such a good character, of course you're going to want to max limit break it. So that's Grimoire here. When it comes to Karina, I use her all the time in raiding when it comes to the dark team, but I wouldn't make it a priority to max limit break her weapon, because I feel like when it comes to actual damage, she's not the best, but she's an accessible option for the dark team. You could replace her with Lynn or with Eugene, and I think that would be more damage, but sometimes when you're using the dark team, you're going to need survivability, so she slots in. But, you know, if you really use her a ton, absolutely can go for it, but I think there's better options. And then Shapira doesn't have a exclusive weapon yet, but she is a good character that fits on the dark team. And then if you were going to max a weapon for her, I believe she's a 2-hander, and so Yuze's exclusive weapon is actually really good because just does a ton of damage. 2-hander for dark weapons is actually pretty used often because of the characters that are used in the dark team. So Eugene is splashed in, and also Shapira could be splashed in. So both of them are using 2-handers. So then this is a dark weapon with a lot of skill damage. It doesn't really matter on the weapon skill here because it's just going to be a character on the side party. So just as much raw damage as possible with the correct typing. this would be a good weapon for them to max limit break if you're going to be using this team with a Eugene, for example, splashed in there. So you're not even going to be using it on the right character. This would increase your DPS by quite a bit. And then a better version would be Predator, but usually people are using Beth on as the main roster for this style comp. So if you have 2 Predators, by all means, you could totally do that, but I think it's more realistic to have both of these, and it's a lot easier to limit break this than it is to limit break Predator. So that's why I'm throwing that on the list. Another weapon that I think would actually be really good here is this one. If I had to organize the list based on priority, she's the best when it comes to just as an actual character. She's the only 2-star character, in my opinion, that's viable for Arena. She's actually good in raiding, and she's usable in some towers, specifically based on her how her auto attack works. And then also, pretty much you can almost use her anywhere. She's just a really good character, and probably the only truly viable 2-star character in the game. So putting more damage on her weapon is definitely something that you should consider doing. So if you're using her, absolutely max limit break it when you get the opportunity to do that, because more damage the better. If you were to max limit break this, there's really nothing too crazy here. It's just 10% attack. Maybe if it was like 10% extra healing, I would consider it, but she's a solid character that is used in a ton of Earth teams, but I don't think it's worth max limit breaking that weapon. But she's one of the better 2-star characters on this list that I'm talking about. And then we did Earth, and then lastly Water characters. So this is where there's actually 2 really good characters here. It's going to be Coco and Rachel. Both of their weapons are very good. Coco is a very widely used 2-star character for the in-game. So maxing out her weapon, I actually have her weapon fully limit broken, because when you see how much damage she does in the water team, it's like a no-brainer. If you're using her as an in-game player and you have her fully maxed, getting her weapon up was like, I have no regrets actually fully limit breaking that weapon. She's used in pairing with Garum, a really good combo there. Here, let's actually go to my inventory, and it is a staff. So got this fully limit broken here. Very good weapon. It will massively increase your damage. She actually hits like a truck. That would be one I would recommend. And then lastly, it's a gun here. This is for Elvira here, which is Blue Rose. And this one is a very good weapon because you can use it on Rachel for the water team, or you can use it on Elvira. I'd prefer it on Elvira. This is the one people mostly use raid team with Garum. Reason being is just how she fits in with the chain skilling and her party buff. So if you compared to the 2 characters, they look very similar. But here, let's go to rarity, and then so she has the 48% range attack benefit, but then she goes airborne to injured, and a lot of the characters you're bringing are putting people up from airborne. And then look at Rachel here, she's going injured to downed, which doesn't really fit most of these comps, even though she also does range attack benefit. So that's why people take that weapon off of her and move that to Elvira, because they're so similar. Even though she's technically the water character, it does not matter. You're going to do the same amount of damage with how the party buffs work in these case scenarios. So that's why her weapon, she's not getting used, but her weapon is the one that you're going to want to limit break. So lastly, I could talk about max limit breaking Elvira's weapon, because she's just such a good character, but pretty much everyone uses her exclusively in the water team. So it's hard for me to justify doing this. She does have a couple interesting interactions if you use her as the main damage dealer, because she can put people in an injured state very easily if you hit it right, but I don't have much experience with that. So if I actually try that in raids, I'll probably try that in the next raid, and if I see a lot of cool interactions there and she actually does a ton of damage in the raid, then I'll definitely bring that up, and then it'll probably be worth limit breaking. But for the most part, I haven't seen her really use her actual main weapon. And if you ever use it, it shoots out really clunky. It's like little grenades that bounce and then explode. So it's not a very clean way of doing damage. And then we do have a couple others. So those are the exclusive weapons that I want to talk about. And then now there's actually just like what are good legendary weapons that are non-exclusive that are worth limit breaking, and I think that's going to be exclusively in the accessory section here. First one that's by far actually really good, just a really good accessory that is worth limit breaking, is going to be Ocean Earring, because of 18% healing, 12% HP, but 10% healing, so it actually makes it the highest capable healing accessory in the game, which is awesome. And then you also get attack percent and defense percentage, so very good. If you look at this, all these other ones can only go up to 20% at maximum. This one could go up to 28%, and it also has pretty good defense. Actually, you know, this range in here in this kind of like 125 to 140 range is some of the highest you can possibly get. So see how some of these are only like the 90s. So it's you're tanky, you heal the most. So put that on Maya, put that on Aoba. Very good accessory. And then the last one, not the last one, but good ones are going to be Black Crown Ring. That's a very good accessory. even though it's very similar to the other ones here, or very similar to good unique accessories. That's something for another video. I've actually done a video on this, so if you guys want to check that out. But a lot of these legendary accessories are very similar to their unique counterparts that are similar to them. If you're going to invest in these are objectively better, but you would need to max limit break them for them to be worth it. If you can't limit break these, then don't invest in them. The only one that's actually worth investing in without a limit break is going to be Ocean Earring. So I'm going to end the video here. Those are going to be all the legendary pieces of gear here in Guardian Tales that are worth max limit breaking. Let me know in the comments below if you agree, disagree. If you have any other legendary pieces of gear that you guys want me to go over, definitely tell everyone down there in case I missed it. And with that, guys, I am out. Peace.